So you mentioned Facebook Marketplace. My son cannot live without that place. How was that evolution of creating the marketplace?
Well, first, I had the conversation with Cheryl in 2009,
Okay.
and we didn't build it until 2015.
Why
And
did
it's
it take so
because
long?
every year, every hackathon, I was like, we should build Marketplace. And every year I was working on something different. I just remember, talking to some of the senior leaders and they're like, why would people buy things on Facebook? And I'm like, what do you mean? I buy a ton of stuff. But they were in these mom groups. As a mom, tons of stuff, right? You
Right.
have cribs you're outgrowing. My kids
Clothes
were,
only last
yes,
3 months or something.
so it's like everything was just sitting around my house. And so I would buy a used bike. And then when they outgrew it, I would sell it to another mom in the community. It was kind of like, it was like recycling and reusing. And I was like, there's less stuff in the world and less stuff in people's garages. Why can't we do this? We are the place where people can meet up locally. And I realized that people weren't in these groups. And so they weren't seeing that. And so this is where I say like a lot of innovation comes from people seeing different things from different perspectives and why, diverse voices matter. And finally in 2015, Mark's like, okay, fine. You can build this. It was not a universal success at the beginning. It took us a long time to make it successful. I joke that it's the 4-year overnight success because, a lot of people used it, but we still couldn't get it to work right for a while.
What were some examples where it didn't work right?
Well, I think on the day it launched, we had an issue with the fraud filters. And on the headline of the New York Times, it said something like drugs, guns, and baby hedgehogs, the story of Marketplace. And I was like, okay, that was pretty brutal. I keep a copy of that. So just to remind myself that, when you build products, it is not always a green path.